This is Randall Neighbors. I'm at 455 Skyline Drive in Center Point, Texas. It is Sunday, October 20th, 2024. The Volunteer Fire Department Fish Fry fundraiser was yesterday, then Saturday. Today's Sunday. I have, about a week ago, I completed the relocation of the wet well from the front corner of my house, and it was about a 100-foot run up there for the sewer lines, and now relocated to the back corner of my house, which is the northwest corner of the house. It is now about a 20-foot run. Okay, so that's installed. Had to dig down 5 feet, could only dig 3 feet, and I hit the caliche. And so I called the company to come out and dig the other 2.5 feet, about a 4-foot round hole. And I waited. Their rock hammer and excavator got tied up in a job in Hunt. So they did bring out an excavator with a bucket, but they couldn't dig it. They just scraped the top and it wouldn't dig into it. So anyway, so I waited 5 or 6 weeks for them and decided, well, I can't wait any longer. I got to fix this. So I went and bought a jackhammer, and it did an excellent job. It took me about 10 hours to jackhammer it and, you know, load all the debris and haul it away. Okay, so got that done. Dug this line for the new electrical service. Moved it from that corner of the house to this corner of the house. And so it's installed, everything's hooked up as it should be. The floats are all set in the tank, so I've covered the electrical service back up, the conduits. And so all this is filled in now. And this was about 3 feet deep, the trench here, but it got deeper, progressively deeper as you went this way. So I made a turn here with two 45-degree fittings. And this is just a drain line for the pump, which so it only requires it to be 1.25 inches. So I dug all this up, and like I say, it starts at about 3 feet deep at the corner. It ends up about 5 feet deep by the time it gets to the terminus down here, where the 1.25 inch line is transitions into the 4-inch line. So down here it's about 5 feet deep. I had to dig a pretty big hole so I could get down in there, cut the pipe, and you know, replumb it. So that's all done. I screened all the dirt in here to get the rocks out of it, so if they ever have to dig this up, it'll be very easy. You won't be hitting all those flint rocks that are native to this soil. And all right, and all that red clay, which is how it can be a monster to dig. Okay, so here is where the wet well was. It was 7 feet down, about an 8-foot hole, round hole. And so I dug down to the inlet and outlet pipes, which was about 4 feet. And then I tried to pull the tank up with a come along and you know, some A-frame ladders and a pipe that I had. And I put quite a bit of pressure on it, but it would not budge. And I didn't know why at the time, but I later found out. That tank has a 3-inch flange around the bottom. It's an anti-flotation measure. And so there was no way I was going to be pulling that up out of the ground. I originally was going to just have them with their excavator hooked to some chains and pull it up, but they might have broke the bolt holes out of the tank. So I'm glad. So I ended up having to take my post hole diggers and add 3-foot extensions on them, so they were 8 feet long, so I could dig down 7 feet to the bottom of this tank. But I did it, got it out of there, dug up the electrical service, removed it from this wall, moved it down to the other end of the house. Now I've covered it all back up. Oh, this took a lot to fill this back in, but I was taking the stuff from the new hole, the caliche, and putting it in here, and it had it about half full by the time I was done. All right, so trench is all filled in. This was 4.5 feet deep, 5 where the 1.25 inch line meets the 4-inch line. All right, so this is all done. I've been watering it for a week, and lo and behold, there's already quite a bit of green stuff coming up. All right. Yeah, it'll be a long time before the trench, because there were already roots here from. This is where the contents of the trench as it was piled up, and so it killed the grass in here. Well, it killed it, but the roots are maybe still there, so maybe that part will come back pretty quick. Okay, so it's all done. I packed it as I went. I'd fill up the trench partially, and then I would get in the trench and I'd stomp it down, and then I kept doing that. And finally, at the end, I had about a 1 foot high mound going down the whole trench, and I got the truck and I ran over there and packed it down. Ran over it half a dozen times, packed it in good. But all said and done, when I'm done, got it all done, there's 63 wheelbarrow loads of dirt that came out of that trench that did not go back in that trench. So imagine that. But I've got a use for it. I'm out here. I'm going to use this to level out my drain field. It's just a peak and valley. Wherever there's a drain line, it's sunk, and then in between the drain line, it's elevated, and so it made it hard to mow across here. So it used to beat you up as you're going, hitting the bumps and valleys. So I just dumped it all out here. And this will level it out pretty good. So I had some use for all the extra soil here, and I didn't have to haul it very far, so this worked out just fine. But like I say, 63 wheelbarrow loads of dirt I moved out here. It's a lot of work. All right, so everything's done. Thought I'd make this video. Like I say, I completed this about a week ago. But I thought, yeah, but there was various things. There was a blue barrel sitting here and some other stuff. So now I've got everything cleared. I decided I'll go ahead and make a video. All right, so 21 months not being able to use the house. That's terrible. Had to fight with them all every inch of the way over the sewer gas. That took 15 months. And then now it's been another 6 months. And tried to convince them that there's a flow problem here, because they didn't do any flow testing with a load at all, none ever. They never did any. They would put they'd put a couple sheets of toilet paper in there and flush it. Well, it wasn't a problem of it moving water through the line, and I didn't know until after they'd put in the wet well to solve the sewer gas problem, which is ridiculous. We had to do that, but they still haven't fixed the sewer gas problems. We're nearly 2 years since they hooked me up to this thing, and they still haven't fixed that sewer gas problem. It still will max my meter out in 3 seconds at 100 parts per million. So, Lord, 21 months, but it's finally fixed. But I didn't get much help. That was just a desperation to put in the wet well. I asked them to give me a variance on their ordinance and let me put in the septic system again. They would not do it. They set their jaw like flint, which is crazy because there are 2 properties up the street that are on less than a half an acre. They're on about a half an acre each. They're right on the sewer line. Their properties, right on next to the sewer line. So they're just 5 feet, 10 feet from the sewer line that falls within that 100 feet, and they didn't make them hook up. I don't know why, and the county commissioner didn't give me. Said we haven't enforced it. Well, your mandate says you must. It says must. I thought must meant must, but I guess it doesn't. It only meant must to me, I suppose. Pretty selective enforcement here. Anyway, so despite getting very little help or no help from the entities involved in this, they spent most of their time and energy figuring out things that they thought would keep them having to have any liability or responsibility to give me a functioning sewage hookup that was somewhat efficient. It wasn't. 14 flushes, for the hall bath toilet is just ridiculous. Okay, so but in spite of all the obstacles I faced, and they wouldn't fix it. They just spent all their time excuses. Just spent about 80% of their energy coming up with excuses. But so I gave them an ultimatum. Said, I'll give you 2 weeks to fix it. If you don't, then I'm going to fix it. Well, it's fixed. And now I can sell the house. If I could live in the house, and I can rent the house out. I guess I can live with 2 flushes. It's only 50% as efficient as what I had, but it's a whole lot better than the 7% efficiency of the 14 flushes it was taking to move the load. So I guess I should count my blessings that I'm not having to live with the 7% efficiency and 50 gallons of water per flush. Now it takes 2 flushes consistently, and so we're looking at 7 or 8 gallons to move a load into the wet well. All right, well that concludes this video. October 20th, 2024, 455 Skyline Drive, Center Point, Texas. This is Randall Neighbors signing off. Over and out.